Religions instill a lot of fear about questioning the church, leaving the church, that when you leave the congregation, you are a sinner. You want to leave because you want to sin. If you leave the church, then there's fear of becoming an addict, an alcoholic. Your partner's going to have an affair on you. Your family isn't going to stay together. And anything bad that happens to your life is because you left the church. So, what isn't really discussed is that when you leave a church, you're going to have grief. And grief is something that a longing, something that you really want and you don't have. So when you leave a church, you leave your community, there's a loss and there's a process. There's a grieving process when you leave that. So you can leave the church teachings and have a lot of fear, and you're still processing that. But then there's sadness. I felt sad that I didn't have a schedule. It's when you are so used to people saying you have to do this church for 3 hours, and you have to do Wednesdays for an hour, and you have to go once a month to visit this person, and you need to bake cookies for that person. When all of that is built in and there is a sense of belonging and support, then yeah, there's a sadness when it's not there anymore. So it's really easy to do this fear mongering of you're going to be so sad when you leave, and it's just a grieving process that we need to find another community. It's a lot easier to add something than to take something away. So leaving isn't just losing the belief system. It isn't, I don't believe in God, or is there a God, or, whatever doctrine you learned in the Mormon church or another church that you participated in. It's more than that. It's losing your friendships. It's losing the support. Okay. So all of these are really betrayals. And other people feel that you betrayed them. So I can't guess what other people are thinking, but I've been at the table. I've been at the kitchen table when people in the Mormon church are talking about people that fell away, and it is negative. I'm like, oh, I feel so sorry for them. They're so lost. Well, maybe they're just trying to rebuild the community, and a community that's going to show unconditional love. So I chose to leave the church. It was my choice, and it is still heartbreaking. And I still went through a grieving process. So both things can be true. And that's what I was really talking to somebody about this, that growing up in the Mormon faith, I learned this all or nothing thinking, good or bad. And that's how addiction is. Addiction is I'm all in or I'm all out. It's this all or nothing thinking. And when we heal from addictions, when we heal from religious trauma, then that's, for me, that's living in the and both, right? And so it's living in the unknown. It's okay to be in the gray. Secular meetings, have just been such a game changer for me. The rooms, when I left the Mormon church and went into a traditional 12-step meeting, man, I knew I was supposed to be there, and I did a lot of mental gymnastics to get around the God and the Christian undertones of a organization. And then when I switched to secular, I was like, These are my people. This is what really helps me resonate. This is what really resonates with me. So comparing a 12 step compared to a secular approach. So the foundation of the 12 steps, and I'm looking at my notes here, is it's different, right? So um, skills and peer support, not just doctrine, right? So the real rooms are built, smart recovery. This is cognitive behavioral therapy. This can be, science based uh, approach. A facilitator, a trained facilitator can lead it, um, or it can be a peer. So, foundations of the 12 step program is spiritual, religious. It's not a it's not a religion. It's a spiritual program. Even saying that, I still had a hard time with it. So moving into a secular approach, this is really leaning on empowering ourselves. I give myself the kudos. I don't give it out to some higher power that never really resonated with me. So the higher power uh, in a traditional 12-step program, it's handing it over, giving it over to God, or God of my understanding. um, and then smart recovery, life ring, refuge recovery, secular organizations for sobriety. um, some of these I'm not too familiar with. I've just been kind of researching secular programs. So that would be more of, a higher power isn't getting the credit. I get the credit. I'm doing the work, right? And it's empowering myself. The core idea of a traditional sober support program would be working the 12 steps. Steps is the program. And then there's other, secular programs where, you pick whatever book you want. There's other, let's see here. So in a traditional program, I had a peer that I was like, well, we don't want to read the traditional reading. So we did Practicing Peace by Pima Sheridan. I'm not sure if this is going to be like mirrored. I don't, I'm not, I don't know if I did that or not. But what's amazing is that you can really do whatever works for you. Staying Sober Without God, fantastic book, by Jeffrey Munn. I got the workbook. I haven't done the workbook, but I mean, as you can see, I've just kind of written in this, and he's a licensed therapist and has just talked about how his journey of going to traditional and then moving into a more secular approach. There's the practical steps of recovery. I have a smart recovery handbook, fantastic. There's also family support, and that's really important. It's just not the person with that, the addict, the alcoholic, that's the problem. It really is a family disease, and we all, every member needs to get help and support. What I really like about secular programs is that it's moving from this, hey, I'm Crystal, I'm an alcoholic, that's my identity, I'm a drunk, or I'm an addict, or, and just being really structured, and this is my identity, to switching it to, hey, this is a struggle that I had. It's not my identity. It's not a disorder that I'm going to have for the rest of my life. There's no lifelong label. And then there's like a strict abstinence in traditional programs. compared to its secular programs are really moving. Hey, if sobriety looks different. So for me, I do abstinence. That's what works for me. But for other people, that may be different. And then, especially with Matt, with medical assistance treatment, so people that are taking Suboxone, um, that would be considered abstinent and sober. And then other, maybe in traditional programs, would not consider that. It doesn't matter. It's what you consider sobriety. It's your chosen change. There you go. So you don't have to believe in a higher power to have a program. It's already a real established design choice, not something that just made up to make things easier. Um, and what I love about this is chosen family, and especially growing up in the Mormon church, was this is a forever family. Well, I don't want to be with people that are judgmental and critical and don't like gay people and are mean. I don't want that. Uh, so I am choosing a family. I am married to a husband that is very supportive and loving and loves me unconditionally. And it isn't contingent on if I go to church. I've chosen a family, a sober support network that loves me just for me, not if I have paid my tithing. So practice, it's just isn't even, it's not, spirituality isn't just prayer, right? It's, for me, yoga, intuition, just sitting still. It's just being in the moment. It's acknowledging, hey, this is a beautiful tree. Or, hey, you know what? I'm just going to show love to myself. I'm going to show love to other people. Um, so trusting myself instead of an institution, man, it's gone on and on for years. It just takes time. So when church stops being the voice that told me you're okay, something else takes place, right? So I need to learn that I'm okay, that and it's okay not to be okay, right? Which I love, that really has come out in the last few years, that no, I'm not going to slap on a smile and pretend everything is okay. I'm going to be real here. So it all begins with love, and with showing love to others, it's showing self-love. And that doesn't mean that I don't bumble and have, arguments, and I'm human and I have reactions. And with a secular program, I'm able to like go back and say, oh, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have reacted that way. Or I know when to leave a room. I know when to, hey, you know what? This person isn't treating me well. I'm going to leave. Or, why did I react so strongly to that? I wonder what that's about. Just being curious is really important. So leaving the rooms of the religion you grew up in, or you came to in adulthood, this is a grief process. And it's okay to find a different way to belong. Your chosen family has to be let in, right? So your chosen family isn't just going to appear. So it's really important to work on ourselves, to love ourselves, to heal our wounds, so we can allow our chosen family and we can support each other.